not doing YouTube intros anymore. If at this point you don't know to like, subscribe, hit the bell, whatever, blah blah blah, then you just don't know. All right, okay. I'm not gonna read this whole thing because I just want certain takes from it. But I covered the thank God NBC. I think it was NBC. They got thank God they gave me the rights back to use the. Oh no, it was Comedy Central. Sorry, it was the Trevor Noah show. I was covering Trevor Noah going up against or the other guy that he worked with going up against Mike Lindell, and I hate the clickbaity Nazi-ish look of this thumbnail. I hate the style of the headline, but it is something that I wanted to talk about, and I'm gonna do this in a very professional. I try to like throw jokes in there sometimes, make the audience laugh, like guffaw, whatever. But like, we're gonna really talk about this real quick. And when I say real quick, it's gonna be like 10 to 12 minutes. The My Pillow guy really could destroy democracy. In the time I spent with Mike Lindell, I came to learn that he is affable, devout, philanthropic, and a clear threat to the nation. Blah blah blah. You say, what do you when you contemplate the end of democracy? Maybe your nightmare is a rogue general hijacking no good football. Maybe you think of a jackbooted thug leading a horde of men in white sheets all carrying. Here's what you probably don't imagine. Blah blah blah. A Midwesterner, one of those goofy businessmen who make his own infomercials. A recovered crack addict, no less. Who I don't like that. I don't like that. Don't do that. Who laughs good naturedly when jokes are made at his expense. A man who will talk to anyone willing to listen, and to many who aren't. A philanthropist, a good blah blah blah. And the room adjacent to the basement studio, extra large image of a New York Times front page hung on the wall featuring a picture of Bannon and the headline The Provocateur. In this podcast, Bannon carries on a kind of dialogue with Rachel Maddow, playing a sound bites and then offering his own critique. Later, Lindell told me that if it weren't for attacks by the left, by which he means Politico, the Daily Beast, and presumably me, his message would never get out because Fox News ignores him. I'm going to talk about this later, but what's his face? Andrew Callahan went to a Q conspiracy rally, the one where the guy brought up the Myanmar thing. I think that we don't take Mike Lindell seriously enough. Even in this group, Lindell stands out. He's willing to spend his money on the cause. My Pillow has long been an important advertiser on Fox News, so much so that Trump noticed Lindell. That guy's on TV more than I am, but has since widened his net. My Pillow spent tens of thousands of dollars advertising on Newsmax just in the week following the January 6th on the Capitol, and now Lindell is spending more than just advertising. Last January the 9th, he says carefully placing the date after the 6th, a group of still unidentified concerned citizens brought him some computer data. These were allegedly packet captures, intercepted data proving that the Chinese Communist Party altered electoral results in all 50 states. This is a conspiracy theory more elaborate than the purported Venezuelan manipulation of voting machines, more improbable than the allegation that millions of supposedly fake ballots were mailed in, more baroque than the belief that thousands of dead people voted. This one has potentially profound geopolitical implications. That's why Liddell spent a lot of money validating the packets, and why he's planning to spend a lot more. He's holding a 3-day symposium where the validators, whoever may be, will present their results publicly. He has invited all interested computer scientists, university professors, elected federal officials, foreign officials, reporters, and editors of the symposium. He's booked 1,000 hotel rooms, or all the hotel rooms in the city, to a damn. Wow, he really blowing some cash here. Okay, so obviously there's a lot in here about their conversation. I'm not going to sit here and read all of it and react to all of it. I don't think that that's a wise point of time when I know what my take is going to be, because I've already covered him before, and I'm going to say it again. I do not think we take Mike Lindell seriously. I think that everybody thinks this is a joke. I think that everybody is laughing at it. And just as I said to my friend last night, I don't think that we laugh hard enough. And I mean all of us. I remember a very prominent Democrat replying to me on Twitter, and it was a very good sentiment. It was a very good sentiment of a conversation. And since then, I've had more conversations with him. I remember saying to myself that it is funny to dunk on conservatives and like out there uneducated people, uneducated if you want to go that far, people who don't believe in this kind of stuff, right? It's easy to have this conversation. It's easy to talk about it in a way that makes you feel like clearly you have the upper hand in the intellectual department. It is easy for us to see all of that, blah, 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 this and that, na, 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 yeah, na, na, la, la, la. Here's my concern. If this discourse could be believed largely enough to pose a possible threat to the way we live daily life, then perhaps we've gone too far. Now, QAnon is one thing. We can sit and have a whole. Matter of fact, maybe I'll even watch it for the third time. The Q conspiracy rally that Andrew Callahan went to. We can have a whole chat on QAnon and how poison that is. We can have chats on a lot of things. We can talk about positive things. We can talk about how to beat back the misinformation. I have networks set up. Like I have solutions. I'm not just the dude on the internet who yells. Like I am practical on the ground. Like it is amazing that I'm still able to keep up a somewhat regular streaming schedule with how much stuff I do on the ground. Not only for my art, but like for the cause. Like I'm not one of those. Like I just sit at home and don't strategize people. But even in that regard, Mike Lindell is a far greater force than you make him out to be, than anyone makes him out to be. Because we know that backing the QAnon shit, backing this, backing the election conspiracy theories, all of that, we know that that's absolute crap. We got it. It's garbage. It's garbage. Yes, the My Pillow guy. We know that it's garbage. We know this. However, that is at the forefront of a movement that caused an insurrection. If the movement were smarter, if the movement had more cells within it that knew how to push buttons, you know how they say, "Oh, Antifa, Black Lives Matters, Black Lives Matter." He's just a conservative. Is that so weird? I mean, not after what we've literally just talked about. And it's not just him being a conservative. That's part of it. Matter of fact, that's the second part of it. Wow, what a good transition. We assume that whatever conservatives believe in right now, that's just their platform. And if there are real lies and real stuff out there, then we will find a way to shed light on the truth and obviously just snuff that out. Problem is, it's too large of a conversation that now it owns an entire political identity. The same way you could almost say Black Lives Matter and Antifa during 2020 enveloped the Democratic Party is the same way I'm going to say for the last 20 some odd years, this entire revolving circle of fear-mongering, hate pushing, just very subtle and digging their heels into their viewers' heads. Like that type of chain of thought is very, very... It's not good. It's not good. It's not good at all. It's not good. And the reason why it's not good is because we do this thing where we want to reach across the aisle to other people, whether it be our friends, our family, whatever. At some point, before you realize either they were too toxic to move away from, too toxic that you couldn't be around them, or whatever issues occurred, blah blah blah. At some point, you thought I can bridge the gap. We as human beings don't have this tethering approach to realizing that not everything should be together, if that makes sense. Not everything should be a full-on circle of the viewpoints are equal. It doesn't work that way. Because if it worked that way, then the compromise wouldn't be capitalism versus corporatism versus socialism. That wouldn't be we wouldn't have gotten that far in a divide if the issue was the middle of it is a system built into us where we feel like we have to validate the other person's point regardless of where they're actually coming from because they have the motive to speak. This, however, this here is a problem. Lindell had agreed to have lunch with me after the taping, but where to go? I didn't think it would be much fun to take someone inclined to shout about rigged voting machines and fake COVID-19 cures to a crowded bistro on Capitol Hill. Because Lindell is famously worried about Chinese communist influence, I thought he would like to pay homage to the victims of Chinese oppression. I booked a Uyghur restaurant. Cool. This proves a mistake. For one thing, the restaurant, the excellent Dolan Uyghur, in DC's Cleveland Park neighborhood, was not at all close to Bannon's townhouse. Getting there required a long and rather uncomfortable drive in Lindell's black rented SUV. Talked to me about packet captures the whole way. One hand on the steering, oh God. One hand on the steering wheel, the other holding up a phone showing Google Maps. Once we got there, he didn't like the food. He picked his chicken kebabs and didn't touch his spicy fried green beans. More to the point, he didn't understand why we were there. He had never heard of the Uyghurs. I told him they were Muslims who were being persecuted by Chinese communists. He said, oh, like Christians. Hello, how is stream going? I'm glad I could catch you over before I hop on myself. It's going well. We had a nice conversation about where the future of this stream is going. You would have liked it. I had lo-fi music playing. It was a beautiful moment. Basically, to re-summarize that again, I'm pretty much going to be doing a lot of like my art and my poetry and creating stuff on here and playing different games. I'm just going to be having a lot of fun because I can't care about the metrics. I can't care about the viewers. I gotta just take it as it is and have fun with what I do. Because that's the way I used to be as a creator when I was 14. I've been doing this for 14 years and I'm just going to keep going. Dear God, I'm not American, so I'm not really up to date with this stuff, but damn, yeah. No, it's real. It's real. Like, it's real. It's real. He said, oh, like Christians. Yes, I said, like Christians. He kept talking at me at the restaurant, a kind of stream of consciousness about the packet captures, his mistreatment at the hands of the media and the Better Business Bureau, the dangers of the COVID-19 vaccines, and the wonders of oleandrin, a supplement that he says and everyone else at My Pillow takes, and that he says is 100% percent guaranteed to prevent COVID-19. Okay, I could stop here. At all these points, he is utterly impervious to any argument of any kind. I feel like that's a joke. I don't know. I'm not going to fall for that joke. I asked him what if, hypothetically, on August 10th, it turns out that other experts disagree with his experts and declare that his data don't mean what it doesn't mean what he thinks his data means. This, he told me, was impossible. It couldn't happen. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't have to worry about that. Do you understand that? Do you understand I've been attacked? I have 2,500 employees and I've been attacked every day. Do I look like a stupid person that I'm just doing this for my health? I have better things to do. These guys brought me this and I owe it to the United States, to all, whether it's a Democrat or Republican or whoever it is, to bring this forward to our country. I don't have to answer that question because it's not going to happen. This is non-subjective evidence. Stalin once said that the emergence of opposition signified the intensification of the class struggle. And this is Lindell's logic too. If lots of people object to what you are doing, then it must be right. The contradictions deepen as the ultimate crisis draws closer, as the old Bolsheviks used to say. Yes, he's absolutely doing that. Okay, so take. I want to do my take because I think you get where that article is going, and it's just going to be more like I literally tried to ask him questions and he would dodge the question, which I also want to talk to you about dodging the question. Look, we can all have a seat at the table, but not everybody eats meat. Put that on a t-shirt. That's a new slogan. Everybody can sit at the table, but not everybody eats meat. I get that it is easy for us to poke holes in what he is saying. It is easy for us to be able to compromise what we know for the sake of trying to heal somebody. Hey, Baja Blast is better than literally. Hold on, wait, I got you. Baja Blast is literally better than anything you've drank in the last 24 hours. Okay, that's fine. We can have a debate back and forth on that. But when the absolute batshit insane things are the discourse, what are you battling? Who's it for? Are we working to progress the country, or are we working to stop like the radical insanity that they're spewing from being said out loud? Oh, you're fighting back against misinformation. That means misinformation's the platform. You're trying to break apart their framework. That's why they don't like you. That's why they don't like us. That's why they don't like having these conversations. That's why every time you press somebody for information about something that they've said, they get defensive about it. Yeah, it's not just about politics. See, that's what I love life conversations. It's not just. It's funny because like people think that I'm politically inclined because I study it. It's like no, it plays out in human interactions too. You have that person who's doing something absolutely horrible to themselves, to going back to that ex for the fourth time like this month, and you keep telling them no, 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 and their cognitive bias kicks in and makes all these explanations for that. Okay, if your friend can accept whack dick for like 4 weeks in a row, knowing damn well it's just for the comfort, like I really want you to gather the idea that if you were to do this on a large scale with like a heroic in forensic take on like how you could save children and stop the steal of democracy, so all your rights won't be taken away and everything gets so you feel the fever and you're doing the heroic thing and Trump is your savior and the patriots are coming and we're gonna actually take back this country and give it back to the. Who are you talking about? See all that action, all that. I'm gonna, I'm gonna allow it and then I'm gonna delete it. No, I didn't mean to time you out. Oh God, unban. Okay, sorry. I meant to just delete the message. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I did that by accident. The trash can and the thing has moved. No, you're fine. It's just it would be weird for it to put up on the screen. That's fine. You get all this energy because you're trying to do the good thing, except the good thing is not the thing that you're doing. Why are we now? Do you see where I can make sense of conservatism, less conservatism, more this fringe shit that we were just talking about? Because I can humanize Mike Lindell. I can humanize everybody who believes in what he says. I get it. You think you're doing a good thing. For me to try to stop you from doing a good thing must mean I want the bad thing to happen. It's dumb logic because I can point holes and like proving to you that the thing isn't even happening. But from the morality standpoint, I see why you're immediately like, that just like your friend. If your friend can accept whack dick for 4 weeks in a row, knowing goddamn well that man ain't paying for them Ubers, like ain't paying for the ain't paying for all of that, ain't paying for like he not giving you no money, sis. You throw an ass for an emotional like you throw an ass to be emotionally scarred like 10 minutes down the road. When these things are confronted to us in a way that makes us feel like here we are, this is it. We don't want to hear, well, why are you doing that? But the problem is that people are speaking untangible truths. In other words, I get that people believe in God, but to make a decision based on what God has said to you requires a lot of subjective, because in another part of the world, that God doesn't exist. And now you're telling me that two human beings that exist on the same place have different beliefs on how the earth was created and our purpose here. If those two can exist at one place, which one is the better one? Nothing is better, right? Everything's subjective. Okay, then. If those are subjective, we shouldn't make rules based on them. Okay, then. Then maybe we should stop trying to ban shit like CRT and hormone blockers and abortion. Because none of these things, you see what, like, it gets to a point where you're realizing that people's actions are being brought about by, like, nothing. Nothing. It's okay to be religious, but the rules don't apply to me if I don't. Must have been an accident. The rules don't apply to me if I don't. The rules don't apply to me if I don't believe what you believe. 2 + 2 = 4. We both agree on that. So all of our roads are based on that. All of our metrics on how to make a curve is based on that. If God tells you should make a curve a different way, I'm sorry, but the physics just don't work. And when you pave that road and you say it's going to work and it doesn't work, now somebody's died. Well, whoops, I guess my faith was wrong today. It's like, we all have to agree to something. And the fact that there are so many people who agree to what Mike Lindell says means that Mike Lindell is an actual threat. An actual threat. Now, you might say, well, then aren't social media influencers and people who promote this and people who promote that, aren't they threats to democracy too? Which goes back to the thing I said way earlier in this piece. What are they corralling around, though? What is the gift that they're giving you? What knowledge are they bestowing upon you? What truth are they making you believe in? Is it that the election was stolen? I don't think that's how it works. Because then if we want to talk about hardcore beliefs, believing something happened is not the same as physically seeing it. And as we physically saw, no, Black Lives Matter and Antifa were not at the January 6th insurrection. But he peddles the lie that they were. So people believe him because they have a belief system and believing that people are a divine creation that was brought here to do but it's all America-centric. For Americans, it's all America-centric. And while in other countries it might be centric to them, they at least compare themselves. There's standards of living. There are certain threats that don't exist in places. So it can't be that it's not fair for us, it's not fair for them. There's got to be a middle ground. That's a centrist. I'm not making anybody happy. I'm doing what we should just all do. That's a centrist. America, there are no centrists. There are contrarians. People say, well, what about, just to play devil's advocate? You're playing devil's advocate with Mike Lindell, who has power, more power than you. And the more you don't take him as a threat is the more that he drills his heels. He drills fucking lies into people. And it starts to become, you're battling the information that they heard. They're battling their morality versus you. You wonder why they're so hot-headed. You wonder why they stormed the Capitol. If you tell somebody brown people are bad, like, okay, so we're saying brown people are bad every day for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Everybody you see who has brown skin and wears a turban is a terrorist. You've heard this before. You keep hearing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you don't know why it is that you feel the way you feel when you see somebody outside. Because your morality says, I would never judge someone for that. What you've heard, however, makes you predisposed to say, maybe I should be on my guard. When I take a plane now, if I see somebody in a turban, I'm going to be on my guard. And you don't realize where that came from. That's what we're in right now. Snake oil salesmen are one thing. It's a fire sale. Everything must go. We are now at a point where the platform is using the fear that they've based up as the center point. Sometimes they would revolve around it. Like, we'll talk about policy, fiscal responsibility, governing, tax breaks, etc. But at the core of it, inside of it, exists a cesspool of black goo. And that cesspool has grown to a point where if somebody's smart enough to really pick up those strings, those marionettes, and start playing these people, a tactician, someone who really knows how to say it without saying it, someone who's targeted, focused, knows how to do ads, knows how to run The greatest of campaigns is being backed by corporations, a true powerhouse machine for the Republican Party. That's how you end up with fascism. And now we're on the brink of that because we're not taking Mike Lindell seriously. Now, is this me saying you should go out and, every time you see Mike Lindell post or whatever, you start tearing up like, here's the new... No, we're going to laugh at it. It's going to be jokes. But remember that behind every joke is some form of truth. And we got to be real careful about what truth, what validation we're giving people like that. Sidney Powell gets to retract it in court, still says it out in public. Tucker Carlson gets to retract it in court, still says it out in public. Mike Lindell gets retracted in court, gets sued by Dominion. News stations getting sued by Dominion, still running stories about it. Still running stories, sort of like not saying it, but saying it. So people were able to prove it wasn't true and they're still saying it. What are you fighting? Fight the good fight, y'all.